Hi Reddit. I'm Lucas. I'm 28. The first thing I ever remember is being on someone else's porch, clutching a plastic grocery bag with 2 shirts and a stuffed dog missing an eye. I didn't know why my mom left me there. I didn't know those people. They weren't friends. They weren't family. Just neighbors, apparently. She told them she'd be right back. She never came back. I was 4. You'd think after 2 decades, I'd get over it. You'd think the therapy, the forced birthday cake with different foster families, the pity from teachers, the fake smiles from social workers would eventually harden you enough. But nope. Every damn time I see a mom hugging her kid at the store, it's like my stomach drops again. The crazy part is, I didn't even start asking questions until I was 10. Up until then, I thought it was normal for your mom to drop you off and disappear. I used to think maybe she was a spy. Maybe she was protecting me. That's what one of my foster moms said. She must have loved you a lot to let you go. I believed it. I want to believe it. Reality hit when the caseworker told me she stopped answering their calls after the first week. My first real memory of rage? 13 years old. One of the other kids in my group home said, maybe she's dead. I blacked out. Next thing I knew, he had a busted lip and I was suspended from school for a week. I didn't even regret it. By the time I was 16, I had bounced through 7 placements. Some decent, some trash. I stayed up nights wondering who I looked like, wondering if she was still out there, if she ever Googled me, if she even remembered my birthday. Then, out of nowhere, at 28, I got a message. Facebook. A woman named Renee. Profile pic was a blurry selfie of a tired-looking lady in a fast food uniform. The message was simple. Lucas, I think I'm your mom. Can we talk? I stared at it for a solid hour. Heart racing. Sweaty palms. I felt like I was staring down a ghost. And part of me thought it was a joke, like someone dug up my trauma for fun. But she attached a photo. Me, age 4, sitting on that same porch with my sad little grocery bag. It was her. I didn't reply. I couldn't. The anger, the confusion, the need to scream at her, to cry, to ask why. None of it translated into words. I just left it on scene. But she didn't stop. A week later, another message. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I just want to explain. Please. I didn't know her anything. Not after 24 years of silence. But the thing is, I kind of wanted to hear what excuse she'd cooked up. Maybe I just wanted confirmation that she was as selfish as I always imagined. So I wrote back. Talk. That's it. No hi. No soft landing. She asked to meet. Said she'd be in my city next week. That she could come to me. Public place. I picked a diner across town. Didn't want her anywhere near my apartment. I showed up early. Heart pounding. I almost walked out twice. And then I saw her. She walked in like she wasn't 2 decades late. Hair grayer than in the photo. Same tired eyes. Same crooked nose as mine. I hated that we looked alike. She smiled. Lucas. I didn't smile back. We sat. She ordered coffee. I didn't order anything. Then she started talking. And I swear the audacity. I was young, she said. I didn't know how to be a mom. No sorry. No, I messed up. Just excuses. I was alone, broke. Your dad left. I cut her off. You left me on a porch like a bag of trash. She flinched, but didn't deny it. That almost pissed me off more. She said she planned to come back. That she just needed time to figure things out. That she panicked and made a mistake. That she thought I'd be better off. You thought I'd be better off with strangers? She started crying. I sat there stone-faced. You ruined my life, I said finally. I thought she'd deny it. Beg. Try to justify it. But she just nodded. I know. And I almost felt sorry for her. That scared the hell out of me. Because I didn't want to feel anything. I wanted to hate her. I wanted to throw my coffee in her face and scream. But all I felt was hollow. That night, she texted me again. Thank you for meeting. I don't expect anything. I just wanted to know you're okay. I didn't answer, but I couldn't sleep. All those years of imagining this moment, and it was so anticlimactic. No closure, no grand apology, just a tired woman full of regrets and a kid who never got to be a kid. I still don't know what I'm going to do. She asked to meet again, said she wants to make things right. I don't know if that's even possible, but one thing's for sure. She doesn't get to come back just because she feels guilty now. Not after the years she stole from me. After our meeting at the diner, I thought maybe I could finally move on. She was just a human being now, not some mythical monster I created in my head. But a week later, She showed up again. Not at my apartment. At my job. I'm a mechanic. Run a small garage with two guys I trust. It's greasy, hot, loud work. I like it that way. Nobody asks too many questions. That morning, I was under a '99 Civic with oil dripping dangerously close to my face when I heard someone say, "Lucas." I slid out from under the car. It was her, standing in the middle of my shop like she belonged there, wearing some outdated windbreaker and looking like a ghost. "What are you doing here?" I said, sharp enough for my guys to pause their own work. I was nearby. I wanted to talk. I got up slowly, wiped my hands on a rag, and motioned her toward the alley behind the shop. "You don't show up here," I said, keeping my voice low. "This is my space." "I'm sorry," she said, eyes darting like she knew she'd messed up. I didn't know where else to go. "Try a therapist," I snapped. That made her cry. Again. She was always crying. I hadn't seen her in 24 years, and suddenly she had enough tears to flood a city. Where were those tears when I was getting bounced between homes, learning to make ramen with a stolen hot plate, or sleeping with one eye open in a group home? "I'm not your son just because you decided to show up," I told her. She reached into her purse and pulled out a small envelope. "I've been holding on to this," she said, voice shaky. "It's a letter. I wrote it when you turned 10. I tried to mail it, but I couldn't. I didn't take it, just stared at it like it was radioactive." She put it down on the ground between us and stepped back. "You don't have to read it now, or ever. I thought maybe you deserved to hear something." Then she left, just like that. I didn't pick up the envelope. I left it on the ground. Went back inside. I worked a double shift just to burn the rage off. But when I came out that night, it was still there. Slightly damp. A smudge on the corner from some kid probably stepping on it. I picked it up. I threw it in the back seat of my truck, and I didn't open it. Instead, I drove. For hours. Just put my playlist on shuffle and took every back road I could find. Windows down. Trying to feel something besides this twisted mix of fury and confusion. I finally got home around 1 a.m. My phone had 3 missed calls from her. I didn't answer. I tossed the envelope on the kitchen counter and cracked open a beer. Stared at it. Eventually, I opened it. It was written on some cheap floral stationery. She started with "Happy Birthday, Lucas." That alone pissed me off. Then it said, "I think about you every day. I know I don't deserve to say that. I know I don't deserve anything. But if I could go back, I'd have held on to you and never let go. You deserved a better mom. A braver mom. I hope wherever you are, you're okay. I hope someone gave you the love I couldn't." That was it. No explanation. No detail. Just guilt and hope and a whole lot of "I wish." I folded it once and threw in the trash. 3 days later, she called again. This time I answered. "What do you want from me?" I asked, not bothering with hello. "I don't know," she said. I want to be part of your life. You missed that chance. You don't get to vote anymore. I know I hurt you. I lost it. You didn't hurt me. You destroyed me. You left a kid to be raised by strangers. I had to figure out how to survive because you couldn't handle being a mom. And now what? You want hugs and coffee dates? You want forgiveness because you feel bad." Silence on the other end. Then she whispered, "I'm dying." I blinked, stared at the wall. "I have stage 4 ovarian cancer," she said. "I didn't know if I should tell you, but I thought you should know." I didn't say anything. I don't want money. I don't want anything. I just want to know if, before I go, maybe we could have a meal. Just one. So I can look you in the eye and tell you I'm sorry. I hung up. I didn't even think about it. Just pressed end call and stared at the screen. What the hell do you do with that? She dropped me off and vanished for 2 decades. And now she's dying and wants to feel like she did something right. Like one final Band-Aid can patch a gunshot wound. But the worst part? A small, pathetic part of me wanted to go. Not for her. For me. Because maybe then I could stop wondering. Maybe then I could stop waking up angry. Maybe then I'd finally get to ask the questions that haunted me my whole life. Like why I wasn't enough for her to stay. I didn't answer her next few calls. Or the voicemail she left after I hung up. But the weight of what she said, "I'm dying," started sitting in my chest like a cinder block. I kept working. Kept my head down. Fixed cars. Tuned engines. Cut my hands on rusted bolts. It helped me not to think. But late at night, it would come back. The idea that the woman who gave birth to me might actually vanish this time. For real, permanently, without me ever getting the answers I'd buried so deep I almost forgot I wanted them. And even worse, that I was scared I'd regret it if I didn't go. The next Friday night, I was grabbing late dinner at the bar near my place. I was halfway through a greasy bacon cheeseburger when someone sat down across from me without asking. It was her, hair tied back, no makeup, pale, thinner. She looked like she had aged 5 years in 2 weeks. "You're stalking me now?" I said, not bothering to hide my irritation. "I asked the guy at your garage where you eat. He was nice." I mentally made a note to yell at Marcus later. "You shouldn't be here," I muttered. "You're not wanted. I don't want to fight." "Too bad. I've been fighting my whole damn life. You just weren't around to see it." She didn't flinch this time, just nodded slowly, like she accepted that pain was part of the deal. "I want to tell you what happened," she said. "Not because it'll fix anything, but because you deserve the truth." I didn't stop her. I didn't tell her to go. She started talking, said she was barely 21 when she had me. My dad split the second he heard the word pregnant. She had no degree, no savings, and a dead-end job. Her parents were already ashamed of her, and she panicked. She said she tried her best for a while, that for the first couple years she was all in, but she started slipping. She lost her job, fell behind on rent, started seeing some guy who turned out to be an addict. The final straw, she said, was when I got sick and she couldn't afford medicine. That night, she knocked on a neighbor's door, handed me off, and drove away. And just didn't come back. "They told me they'd call the cops if I didn't get help," she said. "So I disappeared." I was silent, not because I forgave her, but because I didn't even know how to process any of that. "You abandoned me to protect yourself?" I asked, my voice ice cold. "I abandoned you because I was scared. I didn't think I could ever be enough." "Yeah? And what about me?" I didn't get to decide if I could be enough. She looked down, her eyes brimming again. "Lucas, you were the best thing that ever happened to me. I just didn't know how to be the person you needed." I stood up, tossed cash on the table. "I didn't need you," I said through gritted teeth. "I figured it out. I survived. You don't get to come back now and play the hero." "I'm not trying to be a hero," she said softly. "I just wanted to tell the truth before I couldn't anymore." I left. But again, she had planted something in me. That night, I drank too much and ended up walking back to my apartment instead of driving. Halfway there, I passed a playground. The kind with peeling paint and half-broken swings. The kind I used to sit at for hours after school while foster parents forgot to pick me up. I sat on a bench, stared at the darkened slide, and I broke. Tears came hot and sudden. I didn't even know why. I wasn't a kid anymore. I had my own life. I had made it. Built something from the ashes she left behind. So why did it still feel like I was 8 years old, waiting for a mom who never came? Why did I want to scream into the sky that I wasn't some abandoned mistake? Why did I still care? The next day, I called her. "Don't come to my job. Don't stalk me. But I'll meet you. One time, at a place I pick." She agreed. We met at a church. Not because I'm religious, but because it was quiet, empty, and weirdly neutral. She brought a thermos of tea. I didn't drink it. We sat in one of the back pews. "I need you to understand something," I said. "You don't get a relationship with me. Not now. Not ever. That ship sank before I even learned how to swim. But if you want to talk, talk." She nodded. "I've been writing you letters for years. I got one. There's more. I never mailed them, but I kept them." "Why?" "Because I couldn't stop loving you, even when I hated myself." I stared at her. This woman who was both a stranger and the first person to ever hold me, who left me and who still, somehow, claimed to love me. "You're dying?" I asked. She nodded. "Doctors say a few months, maybe." "I'm not doing chemo. It's too late." Something inside me flinched. I didn't know what to say. "Lucas," she said, reaching in her bag. "If you don't want to see me again after this, I'll respect it. But I need you to have these." She handed me a shoebox. Inside were dozens of letters. Some are dated years ago. Some are written on napkins. Others on yellowed notebook paper. Some had drawings in the margins. All were for me. I didn't read them. Not then. I walked out, but I took the box. And that night, I opened one. It was from a year I turned 13. "I heard you like baseball. I hope someone's taking you to games. I always wanted to be the mom in the stands, cheering too loud. I imagine you with a glove, catching a foul ball and smiling. I hope you smile a lot." That line? It broke something in me again. because no one had ever taken me to a game. Not once. I didn't tell anyone about the letters. Didn't tell my coworkers. Didn't tell my neighbor who occasionally brought me leftovers. Didn't even tell Marcus, who'd been my closest thing to a brother since high school. The box stayed under my bed. I'd pull out one letter a night, sometimes two, when the ache hit harder. She wrote like someone who knew me without ever knowing me. She guessed at things, that I probably liked dogs over cats, that maybe I hated loud parties, that I got nervous around people who asked too many questions. She got some stuff wrong, but weirdly, she got a lot right. One night, I found a letter where she tried to imagine my laugh. That one wrecked me, because all my life, I thought no one gave a damn about my laugh. I agreed to see her again. I don't know why. Maybe because I was tired of pretending it didn't matter. Maybe because I was hoping she'd say something to justify it all. Maybe I just wanted to see if she'd actually show up. This time, I picked the boardwalk. Middle of the week, barely anyone around. It was chilly, overcast, seagulls circling like they were lost too. She wore a beanie, looked even thinner. She smiled when she saw me, but didn't hug me or touch me. Just sat next to me on the bench like we were strangers waiting for a bus. "You look tired," I muttered. Treatment makes me feel like I've been hit by a truck. But I didn't come to complain. I nodded. We stared out at the water. "I used to imagine bringing you here," she said. "Teaching you how to skip rocks. Buying you a stupid souvenir mug. You ever come here with anyone?" "No. First time." She smiled like that meant something. I hated that I let her smile. "Why now?" I asked. "Why the letters? Why this? Why not just let it go?" She took a breath. "Because I'm trying to leave something behind that isn't just regret. I thought maybe if I told you the truth, if I showed you who I really was, maybe you'd carry one good memory of me. Even if it's tiny. You think you deserve that?" "No, I think you deserve that. Because you were never the mistake. I was." We sat in silence again. The wind picked up. She pulled her coat tighter. "I still don't know what you want from me," I said. "I don't want anything. I just want you to know you were loved. Even if it came too late." I stood up. She didn't stop me this time. That night, I didn't sleep. I went through almost the entire box of letters. Some were messy, like they were written while crying. Some were calm. Some were clearly written after watching old movies and getting in her feelings. There was one, though, that changed everything. It was dated a year ago. In it, she admitted she had tried to find me years earlier. That she went to the state, asked about where I was, but the foster system wouldn't tell her anything. She hired a PI who found my name, but she chickened out when she saw a picture of me as an adult. She said she felt like she didn't deserve to even speak to me. And maybe she was right. But all I could think was, she tried. The next time we met, I brought a photo album. She blinked at it like it was radioactive. "These are mine," she asked. "They're mine. But yeah, you're in some of them. From when I was a baby." She flipped through slowly, smiling, tearing up. "You had a great smile," she whispered. "You still do. Don't push it." She laughed. A real, deep laugh. I felt something loosen in my chest. One day, she didn't show up. I waited at the coffee shop we'd been meeting at. 30 minutes passed. An hour. I texted. No reply. I didn't want to care, but I did. Next day, I got a call from hospital. She was in. Weak. Fading fast. I went. I don't know what I was expecting. I'd seen people in rough shape before, but this was small. She looked small, like she'd shrunk into herself. She opened her eyes when I walked in, smiled faintly. "You came," she rasped. I sat beside her. "Don't talk. I wrote you one more." She pointed to a small envelope on the table. I didn't touch it yet. She closed her eyes again. For a second, I thought she was gone. But she whispered, "Thank you for letting me know you. Even a little." I wanted to say something back. I couldn't. She passed 2 days later. No funeral. Her request. But she left the last letter. I didn't open it right away. I waited a week. Then 2. Then one night, I sat on my floor, opened the envelope, and read, "Lucas, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I hope you remember the sound of the ocean. I hope you still hate black coffee and love the color red. I hope you find someone someday who doesn't leave. But more than that, I hope you know that you are always worthy of love, even if I didn't know how to give it. I'm proud of the man you became. I hope one day you can forgive me. But even if you can't, I love you. Always. Mom." I folded the letter, put it back in the envelope, and for the first time since I was a kid, I cried for my mother. I don't know how long I sat on that floor. The apartment was quiet, but not the peaceful kind. The kind where every breath feels too loud. That kind of silence. I held the letter like it might break. Or well, maybe like I would if I let go. The next morning, I didn't go to work. I didn't answer Marcus's texts. I walked instead. Just walked. Through my neighborhood, then out of it. Past closed-up shops and kids waiting for buses. I must have looked like a ghost. I felt like one. No destination. Just air in my lungs and weight in my chest. It wasn't just about her. It was about everything I didn't get to say. Everything I still didn't understand. How do you grieve someone who was never really there, but somehow still mattered more than you wanted them to? I ended up at the cemetery. Not hers. Again, she didn't want that. She was cremated. But I stopped by a grave anyway. Someone else's. A stranger's. Sat on the bench nearby and tried to talk. Hey, I mumbled. Not sure who you were, but hope you don't mind some company. I didn't cry this time. I just talked. I talked like I was talking to her. I told the stranger about how I liked hot sauce on everything. About the time I fell off my bike and had to walk 5 miles home with a bloody knee. About the woman who raised me for a year and sang old jazz records in the kitchen. About the time I got fired from my job and thought it was the end of the world. I told her all the things my mom would have known. If she'd stayed, I left the cemetery with a strange calm. Not peace. Not yet. But something close. A week later, I got a package. No name on it. Just a small box with my address. For a second, I thought it was from her again. One last letter or some forgotten trinket. But inside was something else. A tiny red baby sock. I froze. I hadn't seen that sock in 20 years. Not since the neighbors, Edith and Walter, told me about the day she left me on their porch. That sock had been in the basket with me. There was a note. Found this in an old photo album. Thought you should have it. Edith. Still alive. Still keeping pieces of my life I didn't even know I'd lost. I sat on my bed, holding the sock like it was made of glass. It smelled like dust and age and maybe something warmer. I didn't know if I should laugh or scream. This thing, this tiny, ridiculous sock, was proof that I'd existed, that I'd been someone's baby once, that someone had dressed me and hoped I'd be warm. And now I had it back. I started therapy again. Yeah, again. I'd gone before, half-heartedly, out of obligation. Told a stranger just enough to keep them from asking the real questions. But this time I didn't hold back. I told her everything. About my mom, the letters, the graveyard, the sock. About how I'd built my whole life pretending none of it mattered. And now it suddenly did. About how I was angry and sad and confused and guilty all at the same time. She didn't try to fix it. Just listened. Sometimes that's all you need. One night, I pulled out a fresh notebook. Not a laptop. Not my phone. An actual notebook. And I started writing letters back. To her. To the mom I didn't get to have. The mom who tried, even if it was too late. I wrote about the way I made my coffee now. About the neighbor who left muffins at my door. About the girl at the bookstore I was too scared to ask out. About the cat I almost adopted but chickened out last second. I wrote about the dreams. How sometimes I saw her, but younger. How sometimes we were walking in a park or sitting in a car, not speaking, just being. I wrote until my hand hurt, and then I wrote some more. Months passed. Seasons changed, and little by little, I stopped waking up with that weight on my chest. It didn't vanish. It just shifted, became a part of me I could carry, instead of something that crushed me. I finally cleaned out the box of letters. Not to throw them away, never that. But I put them in a new box. A nicer one. Labeled it Mom. Just that. No last name. No dates. Just Mom. I placed it on the shelf next to my yearbooks and a few old photos. A place of its own. No shame anymore. I ran into Marcus again, randomly, at a sandwich shop. He blinked when he saw me. Dude, you've been in the wind. Yeah, I said. Been figuring stuff out. He studied me. You look different. I shrugged. Feel different. He grinned. Want to come over next week? I'm grilling. Few friends, low key. I hesitated, then nodded. Sure, I said. I'd like that. The girl at the bookstore? Her name was Tara. I finally asked her out. She said yes. We talked about stupid movies and favorite books and why cereal shouldn't count as dinner. It totally does, by the way. I didn't tell her everything about my past. Not yet. But I told her enough, and she didn't flinch. She just said, "Sounds like you've been through hell. Glad you made it out." So am I. Sometimes I still think about her. My mom. Not in a bitter way. Just in pieces. Like a song you only half remember. Like a dream that slips away the second you wake up. But I think that's okay. Because I finally understand something. Some people love you the only way they know how. And sometimes, that love isn't enough to keep them. But that doesn't mean it wasn't real. I'm not healed, but I'm healing. And for now, that's enough.